Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, live from the haunted basement, Death the Show. Live with Chuck Banks and Ghostbait. Brought to you all over the Midwest and around the world. Death the Show, Odyssey Radio Network. Grab some popcorn, folks, a cup of joe, and cozy up as we get ready for Death the Show. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are not necessarily the views of the host, the Odyssey Radio Network, nor Death the Show. Let's welcome Chuck Banks and Ghostbait. Death the Show, baby. Bring it on. Here we go. I want to welcome everybody. Tonight, folks, Death the Show, episode 4. Tonight I have a very good friend, Cheryl Lynn Carter, author of Dimensions, Mysterious Triangles of the U.S., and many, many, many more other books, as well as, I mean, she's just freaking awesome, and you'll enjoy her. And you're listening to Death the Show on the Odyssey Radio Network, live with Chuck and Ghostbait tonight. Cheryl, there's lots of new listeners now, which is really exciting. Can you share a little bit about who you are, what you do, and because it's truly magical as much as you do, whether it's in the paranormal, UFO world, or Bigfoot or whatever?
I'm a psychic medium, and I'm just an explorer of all kinds of high strangeness, UFOs, Bigfoot, you name it.
And that's exactly why Ghostbait that she likes me, because she likes high strangeness.
Or just 2 peas in a pod, me and you, Chuck.
Oh yeah, man. And she and right now she's right in the middle of it, right in the thick of things. Now, now let's throw this out there. Now, you obviously have been interested in the paranormal and the strange and all that sort of stuff. What really kind of pushed you into this thing called the Skinwalker Ranch and UFOs and aliens and that sort of stuff? Because it is a little bit different from maybe a couple years ago.
Yeah, mostly I was, just investigating places, like I did Mineral Springs with you a long time ago. And I don't know, I met a friend, Ryan Skinner, and he asked me if I wanted to write a book with him about Skinwalker Ranch. And we just really got into this. And then I had a few conventions around my house about Bigfoot. I go, I want to learn this. And we have a convention every year in Michigan called Michigan UFO Contact. And I joined MUFON. I just like to get into everything. I like to delve into all the strangeness.
Now, MUFON. I mean, obviously, there's different groups in particular states as well. But share with the listeners a little bit about what MUFON does for our community as a whole.
I belong to the Michigan chapter, and I also belong to the world chapter. They have field investigators that will go out if you have a sighting. You call them and they will come and they will fill out a complete report of what you said. And they check out weather patterns, any kind of aircrafts that could be up in the sky to make sure that it's legit, that it wasn't one of our things. And then, with your permission, then they put it on the website where the whole world can see. That way everybody's sharing their stories and they're not afraid think I'm weird because I saw this.
And there's a lot of people that are kind of afraid to reach out, in the fear of being
Right.
chastised for those things. How often do you get that where they're like, I wasn't going to contact, or I wasn't going to talk about it because that fear for ridicule?
Well, I think with all the stuff on TV now that people start talking about it, I don't think they're afraid anymore to speak their mind.
Yeah, Brian, what do you got, man? I can tell you that
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a lot more shows and a lot more stuff out there that I've been seeing where 10, 15 years ago somebody didn't want to report it, but they are now.
Right.
Because it's becoming more mainstream to where everybody's more accepting more.
Do you feel that as far as if you want to look at like UFO sightings, and I really like the Roswell incident, per se, okay, but when you look at all of these sightings and things like that, do you feel like that it's amping up, especially over the course of the last few months even?
I don't know if it's amping up or if people are just more aware now. Everybody's seeing this and they're going, I'm going to go out and look at the sky too. Most people were busy looking on their phones. They weren't paying attention to the sky.
Right.
Now they're looking up in the sky and they're seeing things. And again, I'm not afraid to report something.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely one of those things that when we associate. And it's just like the paranormal. Any time that somebody's like, I'm talking about seeing this, the shadow figure over to my left or whatever, and people, they're like, come on, at least a large population. But granted, over the course of the last few years, people have become more open, to those stipulations. Now let's dig down the rabbit hole just a little bit, Cheryl. When we look at aliens or UFOs, or whether it's the skinwalkers or whether it's the shadow people, and we had talked a little bit before the show started about interdimensional beings. What's the difference between like an interdimensional being and maybe these aliens or these different because there's a lot of people that say that everything's demonic when you look at that thing and associated with. But what is it? I mean, what's kind of the what in your years of research? What are you coming to a conclusion with?
Yeah, what's the difference?
Well, one thing I can just say for myself, I've never ran into something that's demonic. I mean, I know it exists, but I've never seen something. I've seen angry spirits, really sad spirits. That's when people feel the heaviness around them. It doesn't mean it's demonic. Yeah, it's something else. And as a medium, I'm glad I could tell somebody that, no, there's not something bad in that room. Somebody's just really, really sad or something like that.
So then, question for you. Me and Chuck have both, when we've been on investigation together, have both smelled sulfur. How would you explain that?
I've never smelled that either. I don't know.
We both have.
Okay. I've heard
So
that. Yeah.
would you associate that with the demonic, or?
Don't know. Like I said, never encountered that. I don't know.
Last week, the guy would have said that that's your gas, Brian, or something
Right.
that. So, no, I'm just teasing. And
Really pick on me, Cheryl.
and at the end of the day, we're always. As far as mainstream or, some of these shows that you see, everything's got to be dark. Everything's got to be demented. Everything's got to be distorted. Now, interdimensional beings, when we look at associated with, like extraterrestrial, I mean, what types of beings are you reading about or finding this information out about or seeing? And how many different types are there?
Well, first when I start saying about different dimensions, okay, so when we die, where do we go? We go up to heaven. Is heaven up there, or is heaven in another dimension next to us?
I mean, granted, what I see, what I can articulate, through my years of research, I tend to think that our loved ones are all around us. So it's got to be like a layered approach.
Yeah, and you'll hear a voice talking, and one voice on your EVP is really loud, and the other one's like a whisper, and people would say, well, that's because the energy isn't strong enough. Well, I don't believe that. I believe that there's different dimensions, and the person that's got the softer voice is in a dimension farther away than the one with the louder voice. I think there are different layers around us all the time, and simultaneously all this is going on.
And it is Death to Show, so we can discuss these layers and we can peel them like an onion here. Now, do you believe in like a purgatory for a spirit that, if you passed and maybe you haven't got over something, maybe you're an overthinker like I am, and you can't put stuff away, or you just can't put stuff back. Do you believe in like a purgatory or a healing session before we?
Because I've run into spirits when I'm investigating that they don't want to move on because they got that unfinished business, which I'm glad I can help them, because some of them just wanted to tell somebody something before they can move on.
Brian?
I've experienced that.
Have you? Yeah. I have. Yeah. Many times I have. Yeah.
So how long do you think a person stuck in like a purgatory type state, if they were to pass and not go to that other realm?
Well, the one spirit I encountered, it was like 100 years, because she didn't know she died. Mm. So she was still waiting for her husband to come back from the Civil War.
Wow. Now, can you share which location this was at?
This was in Michigan. It's Butler Cemetery. And I went there because there were stories about a woman in white that was crossing the road, and cars almost run off the road thinking it was a person. And I didn't believe it was true because there were so many women in white stories. But I went there and I saw her standing on top of the hill.
Hmm. Did when she noticed that you could see her, what was I mean, of course you see things differently, but what was how did that energy come to you?
Well, I didn't know who she was, and I said, Who are you? And then she kind of directed me to a grave on the ground that had the stone had fallen over and broke into, and it was somebody that was 20 years old. And I go, oh, is this you? And then she'd go, I probably went there 4 times before I could convince her to leave. And you can't make somebody go to the other side. It's up to them. They get their free will.
Now, through your experiences, what happens when they leave that purgatory type state and ascend into like a different dimension? What do you believe in, like a heaven or even a hell for that matter?
I feel that I could feel how happy she was when she left, and I didn't want to tell her she was dead. That's and she kept. I says you should go over over here and she goes, no, will talk to me, and she says, no, I'm waiting for Matthew to come back. He promised he'd come back, and I promised I would wait for him. And I kept trying to get her to leave, and I said, this is just frustrating. So finally, the last time I said, Matthew's not coming back because he's dead, and so are you. And I'm going, oh, I didn't mean to say it like that. And she goes, oh, and I said, well, it's okay. I know where he is. And so I don't say, go to the light. If you told me that, I'd be scared. Well, I said, see that beautiful bridge over there with the sunshine? If you go across there, Matthew's on the other side. And I do that with children, too. I don't say, go to that light.
And when we look at your book, Dimensions, obviously, we utilize those dimensions and we understand them. How many dimensions are like where we're at currently? And, and again, this is like, man, deep rabbit hole stuff. Is there a multiverse? I mean, is there another Chuck in another dimension that's interacting and engaging?
That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah.
Brian, what do you think?
That could be a big part of reincarnation. As far as we're here speaking to each other now, but like you said, in another dimension, there's 3 of us talking in a different
time
world,
period. Yeah.
Different time period, right?
Yeah.
deja vu, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy when you experience those things. So, that's kind of the general spirit, so to say. Now let's talk about Skinwalker Ranch. Okay, because that's something that a lot of people in our paranormal community or people that watch these things they can engage in that. What do you think it is? I mean, is this this interdimensional possibility and all these different realms there? There are people that say that they're evil.
There's all kinds of things. They're not just one thing. I think there's layers of things happening. Not just on the ranch, the whole Uinta Basin.
So
yeah.
So what are you picking up when you obviously you've been there
Not physically,
but sometimes there are when you talk about remote viewing.
Yeah. And I did remote view there.
What did you feel there? I mean, did it kind of get you out of your bearings, so to say?
No, it was nice. I saw a native man standing by a stream. There was a beaver dam with 2 beavers. And he looked familiar to me. And I said, how could he look familiar? I've never been there. And then I realized I go to Sweat Lodge. This man has been coming to me in Sweat Lodge for 7 years. Before I even knew about Skinwalker Ranch.
Now, for those that don't understand the Sweat Lodge routine, what is it, and does it bring you into a trance-like state?
It's a native custom. Yeah, and you go. How do they make it? It looks almost like an igloo, if I want to use that. It's not made out of ice though, but it's that kind of shape. And we have in the center there's a little pit where we put hot stones. They're called grandfathers. And you put them in there and you throw some water on them and then mix a lot of steam. And I don't know if it puts you in a trance, but things come to you. Like every time we do it, we'll have a wolf come in and sit in the doorway. There's no wolves around where we are. But we'll see him sitting there. One time we saw a little skunk come in and sit by us. There were no animals by us. But you have visitations, I guess, dreams, I don't know. But I would always see him. And I just never knew. And again, when I did the remote view, he's pointing to the east to show me something, but I still don't know what he's trying to show me. Frustrating.
And east, because obviously you would have to go a long ways, to go all the way around to where Skinwalker Ranch is at from east, from where you're at.
1,700 miles, yeah.
1,700 miles, yeah. That.
Well, you have to be invited too. You don't just go there.
Do you have to be invited to even remote view?
No.
Okay. Now, I'm sure that there's probably things you can't talk about because obviously, it's definitely a hush hush in certain regards. But can I ask you if you're going to be visiting there sometime?
I hope so. I don't know.
Me too.
It would be nice. I have no plans right now, but it would be nice. So I could see what this man's trying to show me.
100%. Now, the skinwalkers that they see there, were you able to see any of those interdimensional type beings, or even if they are interdimensional?
All I did see was that there were overlapping dimensions there. If that makes any sense. And that which kind of makes portals open up.
Man.
So, as far as us, like investigating paranormal, investigating ghosts, we've all, found portals or something where somebody opened something they shouldn't have or didn't close it properly.
Yeah.
So would Skinwalker Ranch maybe be something that a medicine man opened way back in the day and didn't get close property. It's just grown.
I don't feel that. I just feel that there's
Okay.
that something happens when the dimensions clash or something, and that opens it up. I never felt anything bad when I remote viewed.
Well, I didn't say anything bad, but just something open that, like I said, that somebody opened a long time ago and it's just grown.
I don't know. I didn't feel that.
Now, is there a difference between like a vortex and a portal?
Oh yeah, a vortex is just swirling energy. It goes from the ground up to the sky, and it could be maybe 12 inches wide. It's not really big. That's just energy. That's not an opening.
Okay.
I've actually seen a portal open up in the sky. It's freaky.
Oh wow!
Is it like I can't even think of it? Translucent, or is it? Does it come a little bit differently to you?
Kind of like a black hole.
Yeah, kind of like that. And the thing when I saw this portal open up, a craft came out of it.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, and it was a clear sky. There were no clouds. I'm going, okay.
So what were your thoughts when that took place? Were you like, man, I have to figure out what on earth this was, or was you a little bit shaken?
Well, I was mad I didn't have a camera.
Every time.
And I didn't have a camera phone at the time. It's been years ago. I didn't have a camera phone or anything. And I kept looking, why is nobody else seeing this? And then I realized that everything around me stopped. Nothing was moving. That was the weird part.
And any time that type of thing takes place, or you feel like it's loss of time, but time hasn't lapsed, or did you lose time? I mean, was it like
10 minutes? Not a whole lot. And then I saw the sky open up again. It was like a tear in the sky, and it opened up again, and the craft went back inside, and it closed up, and that was it.
What did the craft look like?
It was a silver disc.
Okay.
Now, it was daytime, so I don't know if it had lights or anything like that, but it was daytime.
I don't know about you, Brian, but I see a silver disc, man. I'm thinking, come here.
Right?
Actually, probably not. It would be like probably be like the little raccoon that chased me last summer.
I want to see stuff, but I don't want to go in there. That's okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, and of course you don't know what they're going to do, or
exactly,
and
am I going to come back out?
Yeah, or you're going to come back out in 1,000 years, right?
Right.
Yeah. Now, even deeper down the wormhole, the black holes. Do you believe that maybe they're a bigger tear, or is that another dimension? You think?
I don't know. That's out in space. That's not something even by us. Yeah. I
know.
Yeah. I don't know what causes black holes. That does sound scary.
It's scary, but it's interesting, to say the least. Because there are people out there, scientists that say that stuff is protruding or coming out of these black holes, which are just weird.
Oh, I believe that.
Just weird enough, but.
Yeah, I believe that.
So, what are the beings that these folks are talking about? Skinwalker Ranch? Do they turn into like a Bigfoot type creature, or what is it?
Well, supposedly a long time ago, the Navajos they had medicine men, and they have to learn everything about life, the good and the bad, and there were some that went towards the bad, like more witchcraft type stuff. And they were able to turn themselves into skinwalkers. That's how the legend goes.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I have had a dream, and it was back before my dog Bella passed away, and it was really weird because it was like when she was younger, and I'm sitting here by the car, and I see this huge hairy being just laying over there, and it's like, I don't know, it's sleeping. And my dog goes over and it barks at it, and it wakes up and it chases me, or it chases the dog, and the dog runs right to me, and obviously, I wake up when this hairy creature gets me. Do you think that could be something similar to a skinwalker, or do you think I was just watching too many flicks?
Well, from what I've heard from people that have seen it, it does not sound like hairy. It does. It's like a grotesque creature.
Okay.
And it can make you see things. Which people that I know that have seen it, and they said it's like it made me see my worst fears.
Okay, so
the creature that you see is something that would really scare you.
Fear, you know,
it might be, maybe you see a wolf, maybe you see a bear, something, is that really what's in front of you? Is it just playing tricks on your mind?
In a lot of the Judeo-Christian world, would they consider that kind of like a demon coming to you? I mean, something where it's going to try to promote that fear and put you into that situation,
it's a trickster. It's a trickster.
Brian, do you got a question? You look like you have a few over there.
No, I'm good.
Man,
you look like you're thinking.
It's any time that Cheryl and I get together, folks, you're going to think deep, and sometimes my questions, it feels like it's all over the board, and I apologize for that. But you're listening to Death the Show, and tonight we have Cheryl Lynn Carter, author, investigator, and definitely a researcher when it comes to the Frank. It's the odd and all that sort of stuff, which is intriguing because I love that stuff too. But there are a lot of people out there that say, man, we probably shouldn't poke, into these genres or these differing parallels. What do you have to say to those people?
If you don't look for it, you're never going to know. How could you not?
Yeah. And so
as long as you do it with respect, you're okay.
But man,
it's most important, respect.
I'm telling you though, man, seeing a skinwalker, and if I see a skinwalker,
I don't know that I want to see one.
yeah. But we definitely, it's definitely intriguing and interesting when you look at that. But this spirit that you have been seeing for 7 years, is it telling you anything as far as where to go next?
All he does. He never speaks to me. He did tell me his name is Stan's Looking. I don't know how he got that name. But he never speaks to me. He just points to the east. Points to the east. That's all he says. He doesn't speak. I know he protects the land. He's still there. He's been there a long, long time. He might be Fremont. I'm not sure. He's been there a long, long time.
So explain what that means, Fremont.
That was a tribe of natives long, long time ago.
Even before the Navajo.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, would that be even associated with even the ancient, like the Mayans and the Aztec and all that, or is it different?
Probably around that time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Man, now I'm intrigued to find out what the Fremonts are, so I'll be investigating that, man. As a history teacher, I love that stuff.
What they actually lived in the ground. They would like they would dig out the ground and put a thatch roof over the top instead of having it above ground. And I believe some of them might have lived in tunnels underground in the basin.
Would these have been the giants of that age or no?
No, they don't look like giants, no.
Okay. Ah, man.
I do believe in giants, too. There's another rabbit hole.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
There is. They're finding skeletons of them.
I know.
Yeah.
So I think in our first show, Cheryl, we talked about the discovery of giants in the Grand Canyon, which would kind of be in that general direction.
Yeah.
Where do you suppose these are at? Are they at the... Is there a secret room in the Smithsonian, or?
I don't know why they hide this stuff, because it's everywhere. Yeah, have you heard of Dixon Mounds in southern Illinois?
Yes.
Okay, you can't. I guess you can't go there anymore. I went there years ago, but I've got photos there. There were giants there.
Photos of the giants?
Yes.
Oh my goodness! So let's what?
Because it was all on display because they dug up the mounds.
How tall were they?
Like 7-8 feet tall.
7-8 foot tall. So it's bigger than like Shaquille O'Neal, that's 7'2", folks, and he's huge.
So is that a giant? I don't know.
Yeah, but just seeing something that tall, during that time period. What did the locals say, or like the investigators or the historians in that area say that when did these giants live?
See, they don't talk about giants. When they talk about Dixon Mounds, I just know from my photos. Those are not normal sized people.
Like, how big were their heads?
That didn't look much different, but you could just tell the arms and legs were really long.
Man, so could this be like an alien species that came to Earth? Maybe.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I think there's just like they have the giants in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe that was aliens. It was just another race of people.
Yeah, my listeners are probably going to think I'm crazy by asking all these crazy questions because I just love it. Anytime that you can discuss these generalities. Now, do you feel though that that there could be species that travel interdimensionally that get stuck here?
It's possible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because how do they travel? Does a portal open up and letting them in and out? I'm not sure how you travel between dimensions.
It's kind of like Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the Momo monster in Missouri. Now, you hear about all these sightings and things, but then they disappear. Are they? I don't know. I just get fascinated because I'm like, people are seeing these things. They're experiencing these crazy situations that take place, and they look at you right in the eye, and I just can't turn them away. I can't, are people? Too many people would be lying about these things if they didn't occur.
Well, I've got a friend that he actually does investigate Bigfoot. He's fabulous. He's got different calls I've never heard before when he did his presentation. He's got photos. I mean, he sees them. There's a Bigfoot family where he is, and he's watching them all the time.
And does he ever engage and interact with these families?
Well, you got to stay far enough away, respecting again.
Man, I don't know whether that's probably why they rip me limb from limb, because I'd have to go ask a question.
I do want to get a
He
picture
doesn't
of
want him to leave. He's trying to study them. He doesn't want him to leave.
Wow, I
think it's so interesting that they have families.
Are they interdimensional, or do they live on this plane?
He said they're just there all the time. So.
Man, I get
There's a lot of people out there that say they're like interdimensional or like alien because
I don't think they're aliens. They're just another species.
Well, right, or they can like travel through a portal or something, or a different dimension. Because 1 minute they're there, 1 minute they're gone. They never find any remnants of a body because I'm sure they, pass away at some point in time in life. I'm sure. So I understand the animals eat. We'll clean up the bones and the remains a lot, or animals will drag it all over the place and scatter it. But you would think as many people that are out there investigating, especially in a lot of remote areas, eventually they would find one. The remains of one.
Yeah. Maybe they bury.
So that's where there's a lot of people that are throwing that in there that they think Bigfoot is either like an alien or can travel through different dimensions. That's why it disappears so quick, or there's nothing left of them if one passes away.
Or does he have a cloaking device?
Or that, right?
He's not really.
It kind of throws into this aspect that we've been searching all over the whether it's the galaxy or the universe, searching for life. When in reality, we look at Earth, we don't know. I mean, like how much of the ocean has
just going to say the ocean, yeah.
Like how many of those unidentified aerial phenomena? I think is that what they call it now? I'm not sure, but there's several that they say that they swoop into the ocean and they do this sort of stuff.
Right.
It's just intriguing. How much we pretend to know and how much we don't know, or how much the government wants to tell us.
Which it was kind of like, have they always been here? Have certain ones always been here and they do live in the ocean? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we
some might visit from somewhere. Maybe some always lived here in the ocean.
Well, and we hear stories of like mermaids and things like that, right?
Right.
I don't know. It's definitely intriguing, to say the least. Now, Dimensions, your book, Mysterious Triangles in the U.S. Now, do you want to tell everybody kind of a brief synopsis of what this book is? Because I haven't started diving into it yet, and shame on me for doing that, folks. Especially my listeners that are saying, "Chuck, man, you're supposed to do this sort of stuff." But let's talk.
You're talking like you read it.
Well, I've read it a little bit, Tell us a little bit about the book and kind of a brief synopsis.
Well, I've always been interested in the Bermuda Triangle. And so I started searching, and I said, that's all anybody talks about. But there's so many more triangles all over the world. So my book is about 10 mysterious triangles that are in the U.S.
And you have one just directly north of you, right?
Right.
Okay.
Michigan Triangle, the lake area.
Lots of ships get lost in that general direction.
Ships, plane, people around the area disappear. Yes.
What do you suppose causing that? Are people going like into a portal, or are they, or is it just like a natural phenomenon that's causing these accidents?
It's possible. Some can be weather conditions. Because ships, long time ago, things happened. They didn't have navigation like we do these days. But to have 20 people disappear off a ship, and the ship comes to shore and there's nothing wrong with it, where did they go?
Yeah.
There was one time that a captain was guiding the ship through something called the Three Sisters, which is when three bad waves. And he was guiding them through there, and they're okay now. He says, "All right." He goes, "You keep going. I'm going to go to my cabin, and I'm going to take a little nap. Wake me up when we get close to the shore." So they're starting to get close to the shore. So somebody goes down, and they knocked on his cabin door, and they didn't hear anything, and they knocked, and they went, and the door's locked, and so they got it open, and he wasn't in there. Where did he go?
Yeah. Man. Yeah. I mean, it's, we hear about those stories all the time. Like, where do they go? It's unfathomable, right?
Right.
Where do you think they go?
I don't know.
So that's going to be kind of your quest, your entire life, is to figure out what's going on. You're right. I mean, because you do kind of throw in a little scientific approach, when it comes to these things.
Yeah. And it's like the more I learn, the more I don't know. Well, that's the way to be. If you start learning stuff, you go, okay, I know it all now. Well, then you're not going to learn anything.
Yeah, I've noticed this for years as a teacher. Even I'm like, man, right. The more the years go by, the less I know. It's like we're kids in candy jars, right?
Yeah, you should always never stop learning. Never.
100%.
And all the stuff I learned, I said, they didn't teach me this in school.
No.
Right.
No? I hated history class. It was boring.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah, I had a terrible teacher. Okay, I'll tell you okay. My teacher was a coach. How about that?
Did he call you by? Did he say, "Hey, Carter"?
Yeah, but I mean, you could tell he just wasn't really interested. Okay, I got to read the syllabus. This is what we're going to do, and it was just boring. And now I'm learning all this history. I go, why didn't they teach this in school? We would have all liked this a lot more.
Yeah,
they're just interested in you learning dates. Dates are not important.
Well, I will tell you that I teach history beyond dates. Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's dates going to help? I'm going to remember all these dates? No, remember the story. Remember the people.
Well, Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492.
Yeah, I'll never forget that one.
Yeah.
I know.
No, yeah, it's and I totally agree. Anytime you look at these aspects, like for example, when I talk about the Wounded Knee Creek massacre, or different terms of genocide when it comes to the Native Americans, people, it's like their mouth drops, and they don't understand that because we're not taught that. One of the best books I ever read was called "Lies My History Teacher Told Me." You ever read that book?
No, that sounds good. Yeah.
It does sound good.
I mean, it's really good because most of the people, when you say like this, if you say, so who created the first American flag?
Wasn't Betsy Ross?
No, it was Betsy Ross's slave. Okay,
I knew that.
Yeah, but so many people, the first thing they're going to yell is Betsy Ross, right?
Well, that's what we were taught.
Yeah. And it's crazy to say the least. Well, anyway,
Columbus didn't discover America either.
I know. that was probably the Native Americans that were already here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you believe that maybe the Egyptians or even an older civilization? And again, we only have 10 more minutes, so I can't go off the deep end here.
I believe Vikings were here before Columbus.
Do you believe in Atlantis?
Yes.
Okay. Where do you think Atlantis is, or where it went?
Well, like I'm doing my book, and it would talk about how different things happen on the earth. You had different ice ages, and after it thawed, you would have floods everywhere. And I believe Atlantis was a place, and it just got flooded. There's all kinds of, like when the earth was formed, it was one big mass, and then during different ice ages, it started separating into continents. Things got flooded. There's so many ancient cities that you will see under the ocean now.
Right.
And it's because of floods. So why couldn't Atlantis be the same thing?
And what's even crazier is you have sites like Göbekli Tepe that we haven't even scratched the surface as to why it was created and why it's up on top of a mountain for, of all places. But
that's in my new book.
Göbekli Tepe?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's exciting because we've been talking about that in my ancient history class, and when you just you're trying to scratch the surface, it's almost like this. And here's how I kind of articulate all these unknowns that we have today in today's society is, most of the history's been lost, which how many civilizations have we had like this one, which, by the way, folks, everything's technological and blah, 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 and everything's going to be lost, right? Mm-hmm. It's just interesting.
My new book is going to be about ancient earth energies.
Where's going to be your focus? Is it going to be like the ancient temples or that type of thing, or is it?
Yeah, I've got Stonehenge, Serpent Mound in Ohio, Chaco Canyon in Illinois. They all have all these different alignments. All these different places have alignments with certain star systems like Pleiades. Now,
you want to talk about Pleiades and the Pleiadians, and you talk about that's another show in its entirety. Which
I know.
Which we'll have to have Cheryl back because, man, she's just full of.
See, how did they all know this? That Pleiades was so important.
Yeah, and exactly, or Orion's belt, right? Because
Right. I mean, do they have some connection? Did somebody come here and show them, and they go, they're coming back. This is where they're from. I mean,
Man.
there was no communication way back then, but yeah, they're all talking about the same stuff.
Have you got a title of your new book? Or, well, you don't want to say that yet, probably.
I said Ancient Earth Energies, but I don't really like that. But something will come up.
Yeah, yeah. Brian, what do you got, buddy?
I'm good. Just enjoying listening to you guys.
Dude,
I'm just a rookie in this.
Dude, they call you ghost bait for a reason, man. Hey,
I know.
Hey, at least he's not falling asleep, Cheryl. You know, he did it on an investigation a couple weeks back, and I
hate when people do that.
And we were taking a break. We were at a private residence. We were doing a cleansing.
Yeah.
And we were sitting on the couch and just kind of BSing back and forth. And next thing you know, I'm sawing logs, and Chuck is he took a TikTok of me. What did I end up with? About 500 views so far?
Hey, you know what? Let me look, because I am a coach, so I like statistics, right?
I don't even have an account.
Okay. He's nearing 600 views, folks.
Just to watch me sit back and sleep.
Oh my goodness. So and it is funny, but you know what? Let me put the banner on there, because you got to find it. All right. So yeah, folks, follow us on TikTok, twisted_death_paranormal. All right. I did it. All right. I wasn't gonna try to, TikTok everybody, but it is what it is, right?
You always got to put out all the platforms you're on, Chuck, right?
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting. It's kind of neat, to throw some music on there and things like that. But here before we get to the end, though, Cheryl, let's talk about what's coming up for you, whether it's these events. And man, you're in quite a few events.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to attend lots of events, but in October, I'm going to be at the Michigan UFO Contact speaking.
When abouts in October is this one?
It's in Halton Lake, Michigan.
Okay, and all of these events are in the middle of my football season, folks.
And the best thing about it is this location where we are. It's right on a ley line.
Wow.
Oh, awesome.
Which I didn't know when I first went there. All I know is I was feeling really weird, and I couldn't stand up straight. I was wobbling, and somebody goes, "Oh, it's the ley line." I said, "Oh, yes."
I do have a theory that in my area that there's a ley line as well, and I don't know whether you felt that when you were down at Mineral Springs, because it kind of follows kind of that Mississippi River basin.
Right.
What did you feel at Mineral Springs? Did you feel that similar feeling, or was it different?
Oh yeah, it felt different. You could tell. And do you happen to know what was on the land before the hotel was there?
Nobody
seems to know.
No, and maybe that's a book idea, right? To try to,
because when I was in the basement, I saw something. I saw bodies laying all over the ground and blood, and it was like a massacre, and it was natives. And so what battle happened there before the hotel? Nobody knows. I want to know who they were. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many different theories of possibilities, and maybe that's a Mike Ricksecker question, because he
doesn't know either. Nobody.
He doesn't know either. Oh my goodness. It's amazing how much history's lost, folks. That's why you write your stuff down.
Yeah, I mean, I've been searching all over trying to see what was there, and even the owners. I said, "Do you know what was here before the hotel?" No.
Craziness, man! It's absolute craziness. Well, Cheryl, let everybody know how they can find you or purchase your books, because you have a plethora of wonderful books out there.
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. You can get my books on Amazon.com, or if you want a signed copy, you can just message me on Facebook. You can send them that way.
Excellent. And she gets you that book rather fast, and I see here, it's, she even personalizes it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and she's got wonderful handwriting, so she must have taken English class seriously, if not history, right?
I loved English class. I was a geek.
See,
And
she.
we got, where are we?
Oh,
You see it?
I can see it.
The
Oh.
Mason files. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be going and purchasing that soon, because I am a fan, and Cheryl, you do a wonderful job. Like always, anytime that we talk, man, it's down a rabbit hole, and you're probably thinking, man, I don't know whether I'm going back on Banks's show again, because this is.
No, I like this.
Well, I just think it's nice to kind of go things off the cusp. I know it drives certain people out there, some of my listeners, a little bit crazy, but
I don't like when I'm doing an interview and somebody has questions and we just go question, and you don't get to go on any tangents.
You know what's interesting too is when you go on and like they say, hey, you need to send me 12 of the questions you want me to ask. Has that ever happened to you?
Oh yeah. But that's at least better than to have them come up with these questions and you go, okay, and they go, okay, next question, and you go, can we talk about something else? Because usually when you start talking about something, like as we did tonight, something else comes up. Throw the other questions out the window. I don't need them.
100%. Because I'm telling you what, man, when you start talking about skinwalkers, then you get the shadow people, you get the UFOs, you get the aliens, you get the Bigfoot, you get the Momo. It's just truly amazing. Brian, we have several great shows planned as well after Cheryl. But man, what did you think of this interview?
Oh, it was great. And then I agree with Cheryl. The way we're doing this, Chuck, I think is excellent as far as just letting our guests just speak their mind, ask a question when we can, and let them talk about what they've experienced and what they know.
100%. Now we're getting down to the nitty gritty here, Cheryl. Any shout outs out there that you want to throw out there?
No, I think everybody should just learn as much as you can. Explore. Don't get tunnel vision and just say, I'm just only going to learn this. Learn everything.
100%. Folks, you've been listening to Death the Show with Chuck and Ghostbait. Tonight we had Cheryl Lynn Carter, amazing author extraordinaire. Folks, be sure to follow Odyssey Radio. It's an amazing platform, and I don't just say it because I'm on it. I say it because there are a plethora of great shows on that format. We appreciate you, and good night, folks. Have a wonderful week.